Alright, hello everyone. This is the Crunchy Fat, and this is part 2 of what if female Deku was the daughter of scp-001, the Gate Guardian. Now, I want to talk about a comment I got in the last video about the lance. Give me a minute. Specifically, this comment right here about the lance. And I wanted to say I didn't think about it at the time whether the lance should have a name or not. So if you guys want this to be the lance's name, type yes or Y, or if you agree with it. But if you disagree with it and have your own name, put down no, and then put down the name that you want the lance to be. Anyways, back to the story. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. I saw a few comments for the ship being Todoroki and Izumi. Now, I just want to say this here. Izumi and Shoto see each other more as siblings than lovers, so their love is more like sibling love rather than actual romantic love. So, to any of you who wanted that to be the ship, I'm sorry, you guys are going to have to choose a different one. Anyways, continuing forward. We open up with the end of middle school. Now, Shoto and Izumi go to the same middle school, and the both of them are at the top of their class. As the teacher basically comes in with their sheets saying about what they want to do for the future. As he throws them up into the air, as he says, "I'm just kidding. I know a lot of you want to be heroes." Okay, I may not have discussed this in the first part, some of her abilities, so I'll do it right now. She has the ability to fly. She's basically invulnerable to any form of damage whatsoever, so she can't get hit, she basically can't get scratched, but she still feels it, so it's sort of like 073. So like she feels the damage but isn't redirected to the person. Anyway, continuing forward. Oh yeah, she can also command people to do whatever she says, like her father. Anyway, continuing forward, as the teacher says that they have two students wanting to go to UA, that being okay, I don't know what Ray's last name was before she got married. It's because I think since they're in hiding, they're not going to use the Todoroki family name, so they will use Ray's last name. So if you guys know what Ray's last name is, put in the comments, because I certainly do not know. As he says, Shoto and Izumi are both wanting to go to UA. As people would understand that Shoto would want to go to UA, but Izumi, they can't really see her getting into UA because mainly they haven't really seen her quirk in action, so they don't think she can make it into UA. As the day ends, Izumi and Shoto begin to head home, as the Sludge villain would attack, like in canon, but as the Sludge villain was getting close to Izumi, since she's a lot smaller than her father, the kill range, instead of being 1 kilometer, is about 10 meters. So she turns around and she says the words, "Don't move," as the Sludge villain just stops in place. As she then says, "Head to the police station or the nearest pro hero and forget." as the Sludge villain turns around and turns himself in and completely forgets his encounter with Izumi and Shoto. As Shoto would be surprised as he didn't know Izumi could do this. As Izumi would look at Shoto as she would say, what happened? As Shoto would say, oh, it's nothing. Just that it was very surprising. As Izumi would say, what's surprising? Now, she does know that she has this ability. It's just that she's playing dumb. Because, like, you know how in some shows when a character's stupidly overpowered, they'll act dumb to, like, hide that fact? Anyway, continuing forward. As they would make it home, as Rei would ask them if they were going to UA, as Izumi and Shoto would both say yes, as Rei would say, that's pretty good because we will need some support eventually if I end up retiring. Now Rei does have a job. I'll say she works as a nurse at a hospital. Actually no, she works as a nurse, as her ice quirk is quite useful for like dulling pain in areas. Anyway, continuing forward. Izumi would as we then get to the 10 months of training with Izumi and Shoto basically studying and training their quirks. As Izumi sometimes would wander off and end up talking with scp-003, which for some of you who are just joining us in part 2, in case you guys haven't seen part 1 or forgotten, actually no, scratch that entire last bit, she's basically talking to God. As she would ask scp-003 some questions like who is he, how does he know her, and 343 answers all these questions. As she then gets to the last question she was going to ask him, Izumi asks who are her parents. As 343 would say that she does have a father, but she doesn't have a mother. And her father asked him to keep her safe, which included not telling her who he is. I'm very sorry that I cannot share this information, but if you have any other questions, I can ask them. As Izumi would ask, then what am I? As 343 would respond with, you are what the humans call, well, more specifically, those who work in the government, an anomaly. You are an anomalous being who could possibly destroy the entire world if they wanted to. And the government have been looking for you for years, but I've made sure that anybody who's gone close to you never got that information to the Foundation. That is why you are still here today and not locked up in a cell like the rest of them. As Izumi would stand up, as she would hear Shoto calling for her, as she'd say that she has to go, and thank you for telling me everything I needed to know. As she'd then walk off. As SCP-343 would teleport back to 001, the Gate Guardian. As he would say, you know, your daughter's gonna need to know who you are someday. as Michael would respond with, "I am well aware of that, Father, but I feel now is not the time to disclose that information. Her time will come when I will be able to disclose it. But now is not the time for that." As 343 would say, "I see. So she will find out one day, just not soon enough." As 343 would then teleport away, as 001 continues his solitary stance in front of Eden. As we get to the end of the 10 months of training, and Izumi and Shoto are headed for the entrance exams. As once they get in, they reach the physical portion of the written portion of the entrance exam. And if you're wondering, yes, I am skipping over the part where Ida stands up and points out that President Mike was not talking about the fourth robot when he was just getting to it. Anyway, continuing. Izumi and Shoto do pass. Izumi gets first in the written portion, and Shoto gets third. And for those of you who know who got second, you will know is Momo Yaoyorozu. As we then get to the physical portion of the entrance exam, where Izumi's wings are unfurled out like this in the picture, as President Mike would begin the countdown. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. As once it gets to 1 mark, Izumi and Shoto just blitz off, Shoto using his ice and Izumi flying with her wings. As a bunch of the people would say, "Hey, that's not fair. They should be disqualified from the entrance exams." As President Mike would say, "There are no countdowns in a real villain attack. Everybody follow their lead and go." As Izumi and Shoto would be racking up a large amount of points, including Izumi summoning her lance, as she would be stabbing through the robots and slashing them, both Shoto and Izumi would end up racking up over 100 points. With Izumi knowing that she's gone enough to pass, she just rests on top of a roof. As there's a large rumbling, as she'd see the 0-pointer approaching, as she is about to head off, or she sees that Shoto was trapped under the rubble, and being the best sibling ever. I'm just joking. Fuyumi, Toya, and Natsuo are great siblings to Shoto. Continuing forward, Izumi would immediately head down to Shoto to help him out from the rubble, as she had noticed that the 0-pointer is getting way too close and she can't get him out in time. As in a panic, she swings her lance, as her eyes are shut. She's like completely panicking, as when she opens her eyes again and looks up what the 0-pointer is, it's gone. It's like it never existed. As everybody who witnessed it saw Izumi just slash in like a diagonal pattern, and just saw the 0-pointer just be obliterated. Like there's nothing left of it. As the entrance exams would then draw to a close. And that is where I'm going to end this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And here's a little sneak peek for those of you who have made it to the end of the of this video for the ghoul what if that I'll be doing at 1000. So, hold on. Here's a little sneak peek for you guys. Anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta.